Joined by Honorable Oluwasomi Lamide, a political analyst and, of course, a social commentator. You're welcome on board, sir.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
How's it been?
Thank you.
You're welcome here.
Thank you.
All right, we also have joining us in the studio, Mr. Kundari Lawa, a social and political analyst. Mr. Lawa, another Friday again. I hope you will be this calm. We will be done with the program because you start calm and later you blow hot. Yeah. All right, joining us virtually, we have Mr. Douglas Otaru, a former APC spokesman, and of course, a Nasarawa State and National Coordinator for APC spokesperson. All right. Good afternoon to you. Please, I would like you to unmute your device if you can hear me. Mr. Douglas, are you there? All right, so I'm told that your network is somewhat, shaky. So we'll just hope that you are settled in properly. All right, I'll bring it to the studio, and Mr. Lawa, I'll start off with you, just like what we just saw and what is, been read to us. Let's talk about the U.S. intervention and, of course, Kanu. The Congressman John James calls for Nnamdi Kanu release immediately. Does this actually signal a shift, as regards the U.S. and Nigerian diplomatic, relations? Because you'd agree with me that if the U.S. decides to start cutting off aid, to Nigeria, it means a lot. But we'll be getting into all of that. But what does this signal? And of course, amidst this political era that we're in.
Yes, thank you. There's a lot of, controversies surrounding the conviction of Nnamdi Kanu.
How do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Even starting from the way he was, brought, extradited from Kenya. I mean, not even extradited, sorry. He was brought from Kenya down to Nigeria. Nigerian government was told that they didn't follow due process in bringing him here. Even a court in Kenya, fined the Kenyan government for that action. But here in Nigeria, the whole process went forward. And then with all the controversies here and there, he was jailed. I remember Kanu was, last minute was saying that he was demanding for the law in the constitution that convicted that they are using to convict him. But still, he was convicted, and then he's serving life.
But linking this Kanu's detention to Christian, persecution, is it a fair characterization, as regards to the situation that made them, convict him in the first place?
One thing is this. I won't blame the person who link it with the Christian genocide.
Okay.
Because both of the Christian genocide itself has been underplayed in Nigeria. They keep saying there's no Christian genocide, and then we keep seeing things like that happening. So if somebody is now coming up, linking everything that is happening in Nigeria here that are, on the questionable note, then what can we say? What can we say? Because we have exposed ourselves to the world, our incompetency here to the world. So what else do you expect? A lot of things, a lot of backlash will be coming towards us. And that's why they are linking it. It's just a way of also reminding us in Nigeria that the issue of that genocide is still going on. That's not been properly addressed.
Okay. Let me come to Honorable Lamide. What's your take as regards to this? And I love the fact that you are with the ruling party. And of course, I just have to mention that so that we are both clear as regards to whatsoever submission you'll be making here. And in case we want to blow out, we'll blow out to you so you can take it to your party, the APC. Now, what does this say about, your party's administration, starting from that of the Buhari's era? But we noticed that, the killings became, even seriously during President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's era. And the genocide situation came up. And that was the same period that your, principal, who happens to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, running under, through your party, yes, he actually changed, he reshuffled, the defense, heads. And he gave us a Christian defense minister. Yeah. All of a sudden. What does this say about his administration, the APC's administration? I'd like you to
Thank you. First and foremost, the I want to pay my condolences to those that are bereaved, first and foremost, because lives are lost, particularly in the Middle Belt. I mean, Middle Belt and other parts in the country. The killings, banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism are not limited to one location. It's a general phenomenon currently, and it has been before this administration came in. Be that as it may, I will comment on that. But I want to say that the U.S. Congressman, John James, is entitled to his opinion because that is what is brought before him. And it's what we call political expediency to use to galvanize opinion against criminalities that are perpetrated by citizens in whatever form. We have to understand that Nigeria is a sovereign state, and there are due processes to be followed when it comes to issues of criminalities. And a court of competent jurisdiction will not sentence a citizen without giving the fairness for his own to, giving his own liberty to, bring out his case in defense. We all know what happened in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, and we know how the court, through different processes, have tried as much as possible to ensure that it was given fair hearing. Some will say it was not, but however, we knew how even his own defense counsel turned down, they're giving him defense. However, his brother is entitled, because he's his own brother, to ensure that there is a political undertone expediency leaking, because he's a Christian. But when they were perpetuating as a leader, did he ever say he was a Christian at that time? Why? When we link the criminalities in the Middle Belt as a case study, and Nnamdi Kanu, let us look at it. What was brought before the congressman, was it fair? It's a one-sided opinion that was brought before him. I would have expected that the congressman himself will hear the second opinion.
What is the second opinion? Are you saying that there's no Christian genocide?
No,
are you saying Christians are not being killed?
I'm not talking about the Christian genocide.
Yes, okay, so
I'm talking about what I'm saying in respect to the Nnamdi Kanu.
Now, for that of Nnamdi Kanu, Honorable, please.
Yes.
For that of Nnamdi Kanu that you're talking about,
yes,
we've also seen in the north, where they say that they are our brothers, they even reintegrate them back after they say they are repented. These are the same people that have said over time that they don't also want any other region.
Yes.
And they even went as far as killing that we all know, we see it, aside from even the, what we call it, aside from, kidnapping people. These people literally goes to our military base, they ransack, they kill people. But when they say they want to repent, don't forget that this particular repent situation, we have what we call the safe corridor.
Yeah.
That was enacted in Bauchi, if you remember, Mr. Lawa. So this particular system has been ongoing for a while now. And they even have a spokesperson, allegedly, who happens to be Sheikh Gumi, that will say you shouldn't even kill them. You shouldn't even do this. Instead, you bring them in. If they are repented, you allow them, you reintegrate them back to the system. The Nigerian infantry, the army, were complaining that why should they bring the people they've actually once fought against to integrate them back into the community and bring them into their own midst as well. This happened last year. So if you are freeing some part of the country, the northern people or some, non-state actors that we feel that they are from the northern parts, so we cannot even generalize because this is not about the north now. But if you are freeing some people, if you feel some people can change or what have you, so why does it have to be, different for a certain part of the country? And I'm talking about the southeast. It's just a question.
Thank you very much. your opinion is speculative, and at the same time, it's not speculative because it's a policy. Number one, we have on good note that the terrorists, some of them that were captured, we are taken to courts and are being sentenced. Nobody's talking about that. They were sentenced, and there are a lot of them. Even the kingpins have been sentenced. That is one. Secondly, when you say repentance and it's a policy, I don't know how the policy, you look at the policy, but when someone comes and you is captured and is ready to, at the level of commitment, that is, I'm ready to be committed to civil obedience. Well, are you going to kill the person that is already captured? Are you going to? So the first thing is we can modernize it in the best practice, where you say, okay, these ones are repented, because we have some cases that some of them are genuinely repented and some went back. Just like you have a prisoner who was released and went back, and some will never would go back. So what I would expect is that it's a process where if the government looks at it and in the foreseeable future and it's felt that it's not practicable in some instances, where there should be some mechanism whereby those that are already, repented will be rehabilitated before they are absorbed into the military. So when they are absorbed into the military, they have already been fully rehabilitated from their premeditated actions.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you getting me? Now, back to what we are saying in respect to Nnamdi Kanu. There's a court and there's a due process and there's a rule of law. And Nigeria is a sovereign state. What I expect is that the family and those that are with Nnamdi Kanu, they have the right to appeal the judgment. And when they appeal the judgment, they'll put up their own argument. And the court is there. The executive should not interfere with what is happening with the courts. But they want to apply political expediency. I want to say that, how about those families that we are extrajudicially murdered in the course of his whatever in the southeast? I'm not trying to make.
What about the ones that were also murdered by the repented terrorists?
Thank
All right,
you.
Mr. Lawal, you said you wanted to say
Thank you.
something. Please, Honorable Mr. Lawal.
Sorry, so that I can just take a short time.
Okay.
Now, let's start from that Kanu issue that you mentioned. The way Kanu was brought from Kenya to Nigeria, is it normal? Is it according to our law here, or did they use some kind of law somewhere, and then they went ahead with that process to try him for something that was, improperly done? It's even against, you get it, the law. And then you went ahead with it. Have you considered how it was brought from Kenya to Nigeria and then subjected to trial? Second, have you considered that even this Kanu you are talking about, the only thing they use against him is something that has to do with verbal? You never caught him with a gun. You never caught him with weapons. He wasn't caught in a place of action. And he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Good. But these terrorists we are talking about, he said it's a policy. Now, is it, even if you want to integrate a repentant, by a terrorist band, somebody who have committed a grievous crime as killing others, collecting ransom and everything, the only place you have is the military. Why don't you integrate them into the local government, where they will be doing some kind of menial work, where you will be monitoring them?
More or less like we call it community service.
Yes, until you are sure that, okay, these people have all truly repented. And then the only place you can put them is a place of security that actually, apprehended them.
Let me take it to our virtual guest, Mr. Douglas.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm told he's actually in now. But Honorable, I would need to mention this just for clarity that the same way we have Nnamdi Kanu, that we have some, northern, jihadists or what have you, they want to call themselves, that's the same way we also had, Sunday Igboho in the West. But guess what? Sunday Igboho has been pardoned and has been forgiven. He also wanted a Yoruba nation. The same way Nnamdi Kanu said that he also wanted Biafra. So why are we not using a fair treatment for everybody? That's just a question that you will come back to later. But let me come to Mr. Douglas Otaro. Mr. Douglas, are you there now?
Yes, I'm with you. Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome on board, Mr. Douglas. All right, quickly, I believe you have been following the program, so you know where we are presently. All right. Let me pick. Yes, I would like you to respond to the latest situation as regards to, the U.S. Calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and, of course, stopping the Christian, genocide. What impact could, the U.S. statement have on Kanu's ongoing legal process? And, of course, let's talk about a public sentiment in the Southeast. What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, let me toe the line of my former colleague who's in the studio there with you, who, condole with the families who have lost their loved ones as a result of the insecurity that's been developing our nation, Nigeria. Of course, it is when you are directly involved or affected that you know the enormity of, anguish that insecurity in Nigeria brought to families in this country. It is on that note, I would not, be unfair to myself not to be objective about my position on these issues this evening. Yes, insecurity in Nigeria is a global phenomenon. It is not only in Nigeria, it's happening everywhere. But our inability to manage the insecurity in Nigeria has been our greatest undoing as a nation. Of course, so many sentiments, have beclouded the faces of our leaders. They do not think right on how to ameliorate the issues. Yes, given the current, circumstance, I'm talking about the current pronouncement by the U.S. congressman. That is purely his opinion, and his opinion is an afterthought. His opinion is coming at a time that the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump himself, has given a pat on the back on the president of this country, appreciating him for taking very drastic steps in, curbing the issues of insecurity in Nigeria. Of course, don't forget that people in this part of the world knows how to lobby, and they are lobbying the congressman to give it a coloration that will appear as if, Kanu was incarcerated. He was eventually taken to court and, jailed for life imprisonment on account of Christian genocide. I will not subscribe to that, because when Kanu was, busy ranting on his, clandestine radio stations, he was not portraying himself as a Christian. Yes, that is not to say there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. There is a lot going on in Nigeria that needs to be taken care of with regards to religious intolerance, especially on the part of the northern Nigeria that is highly intolerant when you talk about, when you talk about religion. But Kanu's incarceration and his eventual jail term was not as a result of him being a Christian. Of course, Kanu himself has perpetrated a lot of evils through his cronies, not himself directly, because I'm aware he has a partner who was called Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa, of course, was jailed in Finland on account of, terrorism charges. Yes, Kanu did not come to Nigeria to perpetrate the evils directly himself, but he had his cronies who were busy beheading people, destroying properties, obstructing the economy of the nation through what he called sit at home on every Monday. So all those put together are issues that requires, a very serious nation to tackle. And when he was incarcerated, unfortunately, the current administration was not the administration in charge. He was, repatriated from Kenya to Nigeria. Yes, the process of his extradition was faulty, but when he was brought to Nigeria, he had the opportunity of using the legal system, to free himself. But I'm sorry, he became too arrogant to himself, even in court. I mean, you will agree with me that even in court, he attempted to fight judges and even lawyers handling his matters. When it was time for him to open defense, he never cared about looking for a defense lawyer. He boasted or arrogated to himself that he could represent himself. And, the court is not Father Christmas. their judgment was based on the point of law, and it was as a result of that that he was pronounced guilty and eventually sentenced. Yes, if the congressman is seeking the release of Nnamdi Kanu, I think it is not going to be by law. It is going to be a political solution where the leaders of thought in the country would have to meet and see the president to see if he could be given a presidential pardon. Anything other than that, the congressman is acting on his own because he is just an individual in the Congress. Yes, he can have a greater influence on the affairs of America and Nigeria. My colleague in the studio there mentioned outrightly that Nigeria is a sovereign state. Individuals cannot be dictating for a country like Nigeria. More so that there is, a synergy between the American government and the Nigerian government on how to curb the insecurity in this country. I think
All right,
for now
so
that
I
is
would,
my
I would
take.
like to ask you, as regards to Reverend Dachomo's family, and of course 25 others, in Rium local governments there, of course, in Plateau State. What does this point out? What does this point out as regards to the failure? Is it that of the intelligence? Is it deployment or political will? Because they mentioned that, of course, they reached out to the nearest, Nigerian army, and they told them that there was no troops on ground and there is no fear for them to get there. And why does it have to be Reverend Dachomo's family? I'm just asking a question, so I'd like you to respond.
Yeah, fine. It's very unfortunate, I must say. In my introductory statement, I did say if insecurity has not happened to you, you might not appreciate the enormity of the pains, it afflicts on the families, directly. Of course, I'm speaking to you today. I'm a victim of insecurity in this country. Mine may not be loud, but of course, I've had my own fair share of it. Yes, Reverend Dachomo, unfortunately, has been affected directly. I empathize with him again. Yeah, what really happened, on the plateau, sometimes it's not just about the insecurity. There are other political undertone to it. And that is why to comment on the issues on the plateau, sometimes we might appear to be very, very sentimental. Yes, on the whole, I want to say that the military's inability to respond swiftly may not be unconnected to corruption that is, reading the entire nation, particularly the military as an organization, where the armies are not well funded and they don't respond to emergencies, especially when they have a fifth columnist within their ranks. Blood run through their veins. There is this sentiment that is attached to most of the army officers, who are serving in the military. They found it very difficult to act when it has to do with their own people. So I think the government need to check all of this,
All right.
because it is unfortunate for an organization such as the army to say they do not have where to mobilize their operatives to a crime scene. So that is most unfortunate. Once again, I empathize with Reverend Dachomo. I hope such will not happen again.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. I'll bring you back to the studio now. All right, Honorable, I know you have a lot to say. And it's looking like
thank you.
Should I say I'm drilling you? No, but I just want clarity.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love the fact that you're also, part of the ruling party. Now let's talk about the state police bill. Yeah. Okay, so you would have to, inculcate everything together as regards to what you want to respond to. Some are already criticizing that this particular, new police bill would be used by governors, and it to be politicized. Yeah. How should we actually trust this process?
Thank you. First and foremost, let me comment on what my colleagues just said. Now, when you have a military formation and we have this kind of thing, there should be accountability. That is what this government is talking about. There should be accountability because we are talking about human lives. When someone passes away, it's not coming back. So it should not be swept under the carpet. That incident should be accountable. Those who are in charge should be held accountable. I will call for independent investigation to see to the end of it.
I'm surprised that you are saying now you would rather suggest that the government, calls for independent, investigation. But I realize that the APC or this administration actually frown at any independent investigation. Are we to talk about the IMF money that independent, they've not agreed that. The governor of your state also mentioned, Seyi Makinde, that he wants to call the United Nations to do the investigation as regards to what happened with the Orire people. And the presidency actually said no, that, and they actually, bashed him from that particular one. So since when have we started, appreciating independent?
When it comes to,
yes,
there are areas where certain sensitive matters need caution and discretion.
Really?
Yes. Number one, this is a military formation, right? And most expeditiously, it has to be military that we investigate. We have civil societies. When the most recently, when there were agitations about the insecurity, I could recall that the Minister of Defense said that he would love that the civil societies and those that are influencers should come and see what they are doing. There's nothing bad. Everybody is part of government.
So why is the government against Seyi Makinde calling on the United Nations to actually investigate what happened?
Seyi Makinde is an accountable officer. His Excellency, the governor of Oyo State, is an accountable officer.
He's an accountable officer that does not have power over, the force.
He has a vote, security vote.
Okay,
that's number one. He's the chief security officer of the state.
Whatever that cannot command the police.
Whatever is not about commanding the police.
That cannot actually reach out to the military to come and do anything.
You are the MD of your studio.
Okay.
Right. Whatever happens here in your studio, you are held accountable. Not the commissioner of police. It's you. So you have.
Okay. So if he's the one in charge,
yes,
just like you said, and he feels that he was overwhelmed or he didn't have the right, arsenal or the right tools to actually get these people back. Now he is calling on United Nations. And you people allow him. Can the APC government and your administration allow him for the United Nations to come and investigate the situation?
The United Nations over investigation of...
It's just for clarity and transparency.
What is the clarity when he has even said that the day he declared his intention to ride on the presidency,
okay, there
came in the actions.
Was that what happened?
Do you know what he's saying exactly?
What His Excellency the governor is trying to do?
Okay,
he's not hitting what is expected to do.
What was he expected to do?
He's expected to galvanize, right, all the necessary security apparatus in the first instance.
That he can't command.
That he can't control, that he can't command.
When he can't command.
Yes, now.
You can't command.
Yes.
What about other states? Does he not have the state security trust fund? Does it not have?
No, wait.
My question is, who can the governor of the state command?
Every state, Lagos State has a.
Who can a governor command in the force and the military today? Be it police or the military.
Let me say something, sir. Just give me a minute. There's a difference. I want to clarify something before you continue. There's a difference between fund and personnel. Get it right. You may give a governor the fund. You get it?
Is he using the fund?
I'm coming. Wait. You give him security vote. So what is he going to use that security vote for? Wait. Now, the person who commands the personnel, that is the security personnel, is absolutely the president. You get what I'm saying? Now, look at the difference. So what you are saying here now is that you are putting the blame squarely on the desk of Mr. President.
Absolutely. When you have a security vote,
you are putting on Mr. President.
Let me take it to Mr. Douglas.
With due respect, just a minute. When you have a security vote, you see, there is what we call deterrence.
With money, you start sharing money.
No. That's not a philosophy. There's what we call deterrence. Now you have a security vote. The schools are supposed to be fenced. There are a lot of deterrence.
So are you telling me that schools that are fenced also in this same nation have not gone to
when you have a security vote, the essence of the security vote is deterrence.
I just want to
How?
answer that question.
How will you
It's
use
not
that
only about
security vote?
it's not about the schools.
No, you
alone.
mentioned first school
the
now.
vote. When you have insecurity,
Okay.
right, in a situation like this, what is expected of His Excellency to do, all the state governors, is to ensure that all the vulnerable areas, right, are being marshaled by, even if they are vigilantes.
Vigilante that does not
That
have the same arsenal that this non-state actor
vigilantes,
have weapons.
They don't have
Carry weapons.
Look, let me tell you, policing is by community.
So that means you also blame the
Policing
governor
is by
of Kwara
community.
State with what is going on in Kwara.
Policing is by security.
The ones that they've kidnapped for them.
Everybody is
So you blame the
entitled
governor
to
of Kwara State?
the
Is
security
that what
of
you are
human
saying?
lives.
Honorable.
That is one. Number two, His Excellencies, the governors are expected to apply the security vote judiciously.
How?
Not only you can't.
Okay,
say
let me
you
take
command.
it to let me take it to Mr. Douglas, so we can.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Douglas, I don't know if you are in support of what your colleague is saying in the studio, but I'd like you to give clarity in just 20 seconds, please. We're pressed for time. We have to go now.
I may not be completely at variance with him.
Okay.
First and foremost, let me speak on Sheyi Makinde. Of course, his complacency is, very obvious and odious at the same time. He has displayed some high level of leadership irresponsibility because when these things happen, these are domestic, issues, and domestic issues ought to have been treated with levity, liaising with the president and commander in chief. But of course, I'm aware that chain of, communication has been disconnected over time because of certain political considerations. And I expected him as a governor to have made fences with Mr. President. That he didn't do. Again, my colleagues in the studio there are saying, yes, they have their security votes and all of that. This is not peculiar to, Mr. Sheyi Makinde as a person. It's something that needs to be addressed. I think all the governors are engaging on what I call the misapplication of security votes. What stops the state governors from installing CCTV cameras in all the schools in their states? Failure to do this is one of the reasons why you can see that, bandits or whatever you call them could gain access into these schools, carry out their operations and go successfully and even collect ransoms without, at the expense of the taxpayers, money. Honestly, it is worrisome. And I think it calls for introspection. All the governors, must come to a round table with Mr. President to fashion out ways on how to readdress the application of, the security vote so that the common citizens can benefit from those funds.
Okay.
What I understand, most governors use these funds,
All right.
to flourish in their offices. I think the question you asked them before the issue of the security votes came on board was the state police. Before I forget, I want to just put some eyes on the issue of state policing. State policing was one of the brainchild of Mr. President, and it has been on the agitation list for a very long time. And I understand Mr. President has been one voice that has been speaking even right from the days of the AD, and all the policies and the programs he had in mind during the time he was in the AD till now are what he's implementing. And I'll tell you that Mr. President is one of those who clamored for restructure. Sorry, restructure, yes. When I mean national restructure.
All right. Thank
talking
you so much, Mr. Douglas. We're pressed for time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is how far we can actually go as regards to the program. Mr. Lau, I'd just like to take your concluding thoughts. Kwankwaso actually mentioned that this will be misused. As I'm talking about the state police against the 2027 election.
Yes.
What's your take?
Yes.
In just 20 seconds, please.
20 seconds. My headache is the hurriness at which they are doing this state police thing. You see, even the house, the minority people have to,
stage a walkout.
Stage a walkout. That means there's already a problem on what you are doing as a solution. This thing is going to cause more problem by the time they implement it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Honorable. In just 10 seconds, please.
I think the opposition are inconsistent.
Okay.
On one breath, they are talking about insecurity.
Okay.
Now there's a solution on the table.
Okay.
They say no. So where do we go?
So you are saying that
State policing is not only in Nigeria. We have it in Canada.
But have we done the proper structure? Is the structure okay?
Process to do it. Is it the way they do things?
All right, thank you.
You are using
Thank you so
abroad.
much, gentlemen. This is how far we can actually go. You know,
They will say something
on the program.
They
Thank you so
will
much.
they will always have something to say.
Okay, no
This is the way
problem.
they
Thank
do
you so
it.
much. Thank you so much,
You are
gentlemen.
doing something upside down.
We can actually go, but thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Lawa. Thank you, Honorable. And Mr. Douglas, thank you for being part of the show. Yes, this is how far we can actually go on the program. I actually wish we could actually do more, but, you know, it's so unfortunate that the time is not friendly today. Yes, coming up next is Locker Room. If you love the world of football, I'd like to stay able to enjoy that particular one from my team. Don't give up, because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough will do last. Whatsoever you're facing will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. My name remains Xavier Udo. Have a good evening. Rest.